The old Frankenstein watch cleaning machine. Really old school L&R Master with the head from a L&R Master-Matic on it. Complete surprise, got it that way from eBay. As a basket case. Well, not really a basket case. It was put together, but it needed a lot of work. I had to totally refinish it, rewire it, do the whole 9 yards. I got a whole set of videos on me dicking around with that forever. But, as you can see, works awesome. Yay. So, we're going to put this clock back together, hopefully at some point. It's going to be a real challenge because, as you saw in the last video, when I loosened the top plate, the whole thing just sprung and all the cogs and everything just sort of came undone. So all I really have is photos from the outside of the movement. You know, I took plenty of pictures of the movement, but, you know, I didn't get to take any with, like, the cover off before the whole thing just came apart. So I've got quite the challenge on my hands. So anyway, I'll get these parts cleaned and we'll meet up in a little while. Alright, so all the parts have come through the watch cleaning machine. They've come up really nice. They're shiny. It's all exterior stuff there. So I got to get this train of wheels figured out, put back together. Mainspring's going to go on the arbor, alarm spring on the arbor. A lot to do. So I'm going to start with that, putting those springs back on the arbors, and then catch back up with you. You always want to make sure that the hole in the end of the main of the spring engages with the arbor against the tightening of the spring. So we want to make sure that as we tighten the spring, it pulls against the arbor. The little be able to see that. Little hook on the side of the arbor. Engages with that hole you can see in that mainspring in the center. That I call it a mainspring. It's really not. It's the alarm spring, but same difference. The mainspring has the exact same setup. Here's that. Here's the actual, this is the mainspring. You can see it's quite a bit bigger. So that's for the alarm, that's for the clock movement. Motion works. And this has a giant hole in the spring, which has to mate with the hook here. And this one is going to pull against it this way. I can apply tension to that spring and it doesn't move. You can tighten it right up. Excellent. Well, put that off to the side. That's a start. This is a top piece. The alarm spring goes beneath. Sorry, I'm so new to filming and YouTube, and trying to keep everything in frame is a real challenge, as I'm sure most people already know that. Okay. Sure if that's right or how that works, but I know it was the last piece to come out. Okay, so this is the bottom. Okay. There is a wheel right here. This is the alarm setting wheel. And ay, ay, ay. One of these. You know what? That's why I take pictures. Stand by. I was pretty close. I think I might have even had it in the right place, but I just had to double check. So this goes here. This is the setting wheel for the alarm hand. So this is what engages this huge wheel to set the alarm there. And this is actually a full length, protrudes right out the back of the clock and has a little knob on it. So this, I know that this bent prong here goes right here because I wanted to avoid bending that because it was so close to that wheel. I didn't want it to interfere and cause any damage, so I know that that's where that goes. So, all right, I know something for sure. To be fair, I have actually photos and a good record of how this bottom section reassembles. Okay. I believe this is the center wheel. Hold on. This is another thing, quick thing I wanted to show you that I thought was kind of cool. This old style machine, the jars came with screw-on metal steel lids, and the new ones came with these Bakelite, you know, which are, these are really convenient for when you're actually doing cleanings because they're just quick, you know, on and off. However, if you don't want your fluid to evaporate, you know, because the stuff is super expensive, I think what I'll do is for longer periods of, you know, storage, just, you know, not being used, we'll put these on, and hopefully that'll stop any evaporation. You know, a lot less waste. Anyway, we'll see. We're right at the, this is the cleaning fluid. I think that's the more volatile of the two. This is the rinse. So as you can see, I'm right at the bottom of the logo. I'm using the cloth cleaning basket, so we got a little bit less fluid in there. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I think that's going to work good. So far, this machine is awesome. Pretty excited. Tim, what you think of the finish? The original was like this matte black wrinkle finish stuff, and this is like hammerite, I guess you call it, like hammer tone or whatever. It's supposed to be like a wrinkle finish, but I don't know. It's pretty glossy, but I don't know. It came out good, I think. I like it. So, pretty cool machine. All right, back to the clock. Okay, so I'm going to try to put this thing back together now. I've got a bench block to accommodate this shaft. I covered it with Kapton tape just to try to protect the dial. So we'll put that on there and start fitting some parts back here. So this is the alarm, I guess. I don't know if it's alarm wheel. And then, so this is, so the spring needs to act on here. This, I presume, goes back and forth, makes this piece wobble, which this then shaft is connected with the striker on top here. So back and forth between the two bells. Ding, ding, ding. I don't know the exact position, and there's two possible positions here. There's a spring. I think it maybe goes outside the spring, like that. I'm not really sure. Well, we'll try it this way. Off camera, I did apply some, I don't have any clock oil, but I have some 9010, which is a pretty thin oil used for watch shafts. So I don't know. Let's see what that does. Escape wheel. This will be the equivalent of pallet fork, I guess. Not really sure the name of it, and I'll o'clock. Okay, that's the train of wheels mostly together. Here's the balance. Not sure at what stage that's going to get put in, but I'm guessing it's going to get sandwiched with this top bridge. Alright, here is the mainspring. I'm not really sure how this works. Yikes. Okay. I may have to pre-wind this and maybe tape it. Yikes. Or maybe take it all apart. Oh, my glove is caught big time. My glove is totally caught in that. Wound right up. Alright. I'm afraid, very afraid, with the forces required to reassemble this, that I'm either going to crush and break pivots, or this could spring apart and break. So I think what I'm going to do is attempt to pre-tension this, maybe pre-tension it with a bit of tape around it to hold it, or maybe a zip tie or something, and then try to be able to just plunk it right down in. I'll be back. So far, this is what I got. The mainspring, I was able to use a zip tie and get that positioned pretty well. Just barely fits because the zip tie actually gets in the way. It's pretty low tolerance. The alarm spring, I had it also nicely done with a zip tie. But the problem is that in order to compress the spring enough, it brings the end loop, which fits on this post, it brings it too far away from the center. So you really need to like be able to compress it and hold it, but leave this little tail loose in order to reach over here. And I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to do that. Maybe tape? I hate to do that because then you get adhesive, you know, in the spring, which can probably lead to problems. So I don't really know. I'm going to try again. What I'm going to do is I think I'm going to compress it loosely with a zip tie. Only enough to reach the post. So the next time you see it, we'll likely have a zip tie on this, or some kind of solution to the problem, because the way it is now, it's pushing on this shaft here, this wheel, the alarm oscillating wheel, I'm going to call it, alarm wheel, whatever. It's pushing that over. It's not going to be able to align with the with the bridge, the top plate bridge, whatever it is you want to call it. The terms I know are from watching watch videos, not clock videos, but I wanted to start with a clock because they're just so much bigger, and plus an alarm clock's pretty useful, so, you know, pretty cool. I have this. I have some big pocket watches to get me started before I tackle some of the stuff that I've got planned. Servicing my own watches, my wife's Bulgari. So anyway, this is a start. This is where I'm starting. And fundamentally, it's way, way different than a watch. Boy, it'd be a lot easier just to use a mainspring winder and pop them into a barrel, and they're all good to go. This is kind of crazy. Anyway, I'm going to try that, and I think what I'll do is send out what I've got, and the next part will be hopefully finishing this thing up, getting it back running again. It ran like crap. I couldn't get it to run. Basically, I couldn't get it to run fast enough to make it keep time. It would lose minutes on the hour. So it was losing a ton, you know, losing at least 24 minutes a day. I mean, it had to have been. So, and that was with the adjustment all the way. So I don't know if that was due to dirt, oils, if I need to adjust the balance, the length of the balance, I'm not really sure. But we'll figure it out. I could barely get the time grapher to even register it. It was so, the beat was so wild on it. It was just terrible. So anyway, see you on the next one.